association with Mohammed Murad. Welcome to Earls Court on an evening of championship boxing. Your officials this evening are appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control. The first contest which is in the ring is a light welterweight contest of 8 3-minute rounds. Between introducing in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks from Johannesburg, South Africa. A welcome please for Dingaan Thobela.
Dingaan Thobela.
His opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks from Great Britain, would be welcome Tony Foster. At today's weigh-in, Thobela scale 9 stone 10 pounds. Foster, 9 stone, 12 3/4 pounds. Your timekeeper in this contest, Mr. Tommy Rice. The referee, Mr. Roy Francis.
Okay, Glenn?
Yes.
On paper, I must say this looks one of the more improbable matchups of the year. Dingaan Thobela, the former WBO lightweight champion of the world, who's now relinquished that title and is now ranked #1 by the WBA, up against the much-beaten Tony Foster from Hull in the white shorts. And Thobela getting rare British exposure here, but he is one of the best lightweights around.
He is. They have him ranked, I think it's #1 by the WBA, so it shows the sort of class that he has. But Tony Foster's been in with some good fighters, and he's tough and durable. This is an immense step up in class.
Foster, no question about it, certainly cast as the opponent or sacrificial lamb here. Tonight's promotion being beamed live to South Africa, as well as many other destinations on the planet, such as the interest in this big show at Earls Court. Thobela doesn't seem to be in any rush, does he, Glenn? Just taking his time, having a good look.
He's taking his time, just looking to see what Tony Foster's got. So it's very quiet. But obviously Foster knows how good Thobela is. He's not going to really make no mistakes and try and dash in. Foster now and again can come up with a good win, as he did in 1989 against Sugar Jibbleru.
Yes, he's probably not quite as bad as his record of 16 wins, 24 defeats and 2 draws might indicate. Kind of fighter who's probably taken quite a few of those contests at late notice, that sort of thing, and come in simply to earn a pay night rather than seriously chase championships.
That's right. That type of fighter isn't groomed for a good record, but they're always available and really are the backbone of the game.
Very quiet opening round. Foster, you'll notice, boxing out of the southpaw stance, leading with the right hand. Had 25 fights in his first 2 years as a professional boxer, which is over 1 a month, of course.
Don't hold, Foster, you're holding, leg up.
One of the men that Thobela has beaten is Danilo Cabrera, who you might remember gave Barry McGuigan a pretty tough fight in Dublin in one of his world featherweight title defenses a few years back. Thobela beat him in 3 rounds.
Well, Thobela's pretty much doing what he wants to do. At the minute, he's mainly stalking. He's opened up a little bit with a few shots, but nothing that's really caught, nothing that's damaging.
Got to be honest about it, Glenn. Not much more, really, than a marking time job for Thobela, and a very quiet opening round. Well, there's Tony Foster, and there's that rather indifferent record of his, but as Glenn was saying, he does hold a victory over the former British champion Sugar Jibbleru. and he won last time out in Hull, his hometown, against Tony Doyle on points.
Yes, he's mixed in good company. I think we've seen in that round, he just pretty much trying to keep out of the way of Thobela.
That's Thobela's record, just a 1 early career draw as a blot on that. Not a very concussive puncher, as those number of knockouts might suggest. 16 in 27 victories.
But he has been fighting in a different class, and I think he held the WBO title for some time.
Yes, he made a couple of defenses of that title, Thobela. Round 2 in this lightweight contest, former world champion Dingaan Thobela from South Africa in the black shorts here after a quiet opening round up against the British journeyman, and not meaning to be too insulting with that description, Tony Foster, but he has been beaten quite a lot in his career in the white shorts, but in no kind of trouble at all in that opening round.
No, he's trying to fight a spoiling fight. He's using a southpaw jab and then trying to dash in the distance with some of them hooks there. But Thobela's just being very cool. He hasn't been in a hurry himself yet. He's just trying to find the distance with a jab. It's quite awkward fighting a southpaw and getting your shots on early.
Really playing it very, very cagey indeed, Thobela. He's just poking out little token jabs with no real ramrod quality behind them. And it almost looks at the moment, doesn't it, like some kind of low-key gym workout.
It does. I would imagine he's had harder spars. He just doesn't look ready to step it up. I think when he's got the eyes of the world watching him, he needs to step it up. If he wants to shine, if he wants to get in world title fights, he needs to show a little bit more than this.
Yes, it's a fact of marketing philosophy, of course, at the top in world boxing, that you don't only have to be good and win fights, you have to look pretty exciting and be a little bit charismatic in doing it.
You do, yes. If people are going to watch you on TV, if people are going to pay to see you, you haven't just be a good fighter, you've got to look a good fighter.
One thing we've seen already from Thobela is how clever he is defensively. He's making Foster miss all the time. He just skips backwards. He can fight going backwards, and everything Foster tries, well, suddenly the punch is out of range because he's good fighting in reverse gear.
Yes, he looks a nice boxer, stepping about nice. You know, he seems to have the moves and the talent, but we haven't seen anything of a concussive punch yet.
Hasn't really tried anything, has he? Just that jab, no moves at all.
He hasn't. He's just been content to step in, throw a jab, maybe throw a little few shots to the body and then get out.
Thobela is doing what little scoring there is in this contest. He's got only 1 or 2 useful shots to the body. Again, making Foster miss very adroitly.
Foster's trying to let a few shots go. He's trying to get in inside and rough Thobela up a little bit. I think he's got to do that. It's got to be his ploy.
Coming up towards the end of the second round here. Quiet one so far, I think it's fair to say. Dingaan Thobela. They call him the Rose of Soweto, and I'm rather surprised to see that they've got the old ice bag out there. I don't know whether they're a bit worried about the eyes swelling up. I think it's probably precautionary. It has to be. He's hardly so far taken a punch in the contest.
We've got a little bit of action here from that round, and there wasn't much action in it. This pretty much is the sort of thing we've had in these 2 rounds. Thobela trying to get forward, trying to get his jab on, and then skipping out of range. Now we see him just glance with the right hand. A nice left jab, but nothing really behind it. He hasn't stepped up the pace yet. He needs to push things and step it up a little bit.
10 seconds.
Low profile start to this contest for the former world champion as the 3rd round gets underway here. Dingaan Thobela, the 26-year-old from Johannesburg, in the black shorts, up against Hull's Tony Foster. Boxed all over Europe. Foster very, very experienced now. And this year he's gone the distance with two pretty good Frenchmen in Angel Mona and Pierre Lorcy.
Don't hold, don't hold. Give him a that.
So he's got plenty of resilience and durability.
Yes, he's a cagey fighter who knows, you know, how to give a good fight, how to survive. He's a good pro. I've seen the Lorcy fight, and he did quite well.
Thobela gave up the WBO World Championship out of the ring. He was never beaten in it for that title. It just wasn't making him enough money. He didn't think it had enough credibility, and there was a rather ridiculous suggestion at one time that the WBO were going to fine him £200,000 for giving up their title. How about that?
Well, that would have been a shock for him, I think.
They've got plenty of nerve, I'll say that. Hope he didn't pay it.
I shouldn't think so.
I'll bet so.
He holds his chin. Thobela holds his chin quite upright. He's trying to throw that right hand to the southpaw. But as he does it, he's got his chin right in the air.
Don't hold, don't hold.
I don't think Foster is the type of fighter who could really take advantage of that. But as he steps in class, he's number one. I think the Tony Lopez, who's just won the world title, he's going to have to show a little bit more than this.
I don't know if he's got a motivation problem here or whatever it is, but he doesn't really doesn't look the part at all, does he, tonight? Just doesn't look switched on.
He doesn't. He's trying a little bit to pick it up now. I know, you know, maybe we are taking a little bit from Tony Foster. He is a good fighter. He's been in with some, you know, he's globe-trotting around Europe and been in with some good ones. And is basically a survivor.
He's getting a bit more bold now, Foster. Starting to come forward. He's, I think, reckoned that he's been around for 2.5 rounds with this fellow Thobela, and he hasn't seen too much, so he's going to start giving it a go. And he's landed with some body punches in this round, and he's starting to get quite positive. Might get interesting.
It might. I think, you know, why shouldn't Foster? He should try the attack, try to go on the front foot and let some shots go and see what Thobela's got. Starting to pick it up a little bit there, Thobela.
Well, it was a good round, that, for Tony Foster as he goes back to his corner. He took the initiative in the middle part of the round, landed with some good body punches, tried to bustle Thobela up, and I think he might have just stung the champion, or ex-champion, into a bit of action there towards the end of the round. And as far as Thobela was concerned, it was much needed action, Glenn, wasn't it?
It was. Not much happened in that round, so it was good to see Foster picking it up, and good to see that maybe he's getting a little bit of confidence, and he's going to have a go in these following rounds. He tries there, but you see he's anxious. He tries to throw that left hand, but he's out of distance. I think obviously he's seen what Thobela's reputation is, and he's a little bit wary about, you know, whether he's got some bombs in there.
10 seconds, corners.
Well, there's Tony Foster. Seen it all before, of course. Fourth round in this 8-rounder at lightweight. Tony Foster from Hull in the white shorts. The South African Thobela in black.
Thobela certainly hasn't shown much to set the boxing world alight as of yet. Again, it could be that this is a low-key fight, you know, just a fight on the way to a world title fight. So obviously he's probably not that motivated. It's hard getting up for these sort of fights, but he still needs to show a little bit more than this.
Well, you know what they say about the best laid plans, and life's what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. We've seen it before where fighters have had marking time fights on their way to supposedly bigger things and been turned over, but I don't think that's going to happen here. But Foster now starting to really bustle up Thobela and making him wince a bit with 1 or 2 of those body shots. The South African really is making heavy weather of this for a supposedly top-class lightweight.
That's what Foster's got to do. If Thobela's, if he's going to stand on the ropes, Foster's got to keep the pressure on him. Keep him there, make the fight rough. Bustle and bustle him.
Questions being asked, isn't it, Glenn, now of Thobela? Come on, Foster's saying. I'm stepping it up now, and I think the onus very much is on Thobela to show his full repertoire and stamp his class on this.
That's right. I think Foster came into the fight thinking, you know, maybe I'm just here to make the numbers up against a world-class opponent. Now he's beginning to fancy it a little bit and pick the pace up. And we're not, at this moment, seeing a reply back from Thobela.
I'm just watching to see maybe whether Thobela has some problem with the right hand. He's hardly thrown a right hand in the contest. There was one, but he's boxing almost exclusively with the left.
He is. And when he throws a left hand, he seems to pull his shoulder back, as if he doesn't really want to let full power into the shot.
Yeah, you never know. There could be some story that we don't know about backstage, whether he's taken some injury into the fight. Again, a couple of good body punches from Foster.
Yes, he's landing with them wide right hooks to the body.
That's a good left hook from Thobela. That was better. Left hook right underneath the ribs.
Yes, he came in with 2 body shots following that as well, which landed nice. He's starting to show a little bit more class now.
He's quite elusive as well, Thobela. He's good at making Foster miss, slipping the punches. That's quite clever. Foster tripling up on the jab that time. Only one landed, but that was a nice bit of class from him. Now Tony Foster. He's been with the distance with another WBO champion in Jimmy Bredal, WBO featherweight champion. And always gives an honest performance. Action again from that last round, Glenn.
Yes, a little bit of Foster where he's rushing in. He's trying to land some punches. I think he's starting a little bit more confidence and let a few shots go. This is where he worked in the corner to Thobela's body. Got some success. Got through with a few shots there. But I was surprised that Thobela just was allowed and was satisfied just to take it. And he never turned Foster or showed any sort of class to get out of there.
Seconds up, 12-5.
So round 5 of what's been actually a reasonably even sort of contest. In the last couple of rounds, Foster's done some fairly good work and has lived pretty comfortably with this former world champion who's ranked #1 in the world by the WBA, and he's also top 10 ranked by the IBF, #8, I believe he is with that body.
Yes, when you look at the work that's been done, it is quite even.
Stand back. Don't hold his head.
Because of Thobela's reputation, you instantly start to look for what he can do. But actually, you know, Foster's getting through with some shots and had quite a good round last round.
Right, pull out, both of you.
Referee Roy Francis having a word with them. Francis, one of our top referees now. He was in charge on that ill-fated night at White Hart Lane, the second Watson-Eubank fight.
Thobela again this round is just a little bit too content to pause and keep looking at Tony Foster. He's trying to get his jab going, but he's not throwing nothing behind it. Against the southpaw, when it's quite awkward to get your jab on because you're both facing each other with jabs. He's really got to throw more shots behind it. The jab becomes quite a useless weapon, and he needs to step in the distance, double up the jab, then right hand, left hook if he's going to get any success. And he's not really doing that.
Well, if Thobela is a Rolls-Royce in this lightweight division, he's a Rolls-Royce that hasn't got out of first gear so far.
Nice combination from Foster.
Doesn't seem to be an awful lot in Thobela's punches either, does there, somehow?
It doesn't, and yet he has, quite a few knockouts on his record. He doesn't look that type of a devastating puncher.
His hand speed doesn't look anything to really write home about, does it? It's usually a mark of a world-class fighter, the hand speed. Now he's beginning to get through a little more. We keep waiting for him, don't we, to move up into some gear. I'm beginning to think it isn't going to happen.
That's right. It just seems poised that all of a sudden he's going to step up with something because of his reputation and do something spectacular, and yet it doesn't come. And then you've got to look and say, well, okay, Foster's still here, and he's still throwing shots, and he's given as good as he's gotten so far.
Well, the two fighters going back to their corners after that round, with Thobela again giving a curiously low-key performance here. They're obviously worried about damage in the past around those eyes. They've been there with the ice bag from the word go.
They have, and yet we haven't really seen anything. Nice right hand there from Thobela. Two right hands. That's just at the end of the round when he had a little bit of a rumble. Foster managed to get out the way without taking too much. So look at it again. Yes, I'm not sure why they keep putting the ice bag on. Maybe he's had problems before and they making sure it doesn't swell up again.
10 seconds, corners.
Thobela, who's beaten quite a few British opponents in the past.
Seconds up. Round 6.
Sixth round between the former WBO world lightweight champion Dingaan Thobela in the black trunks from South Africa, the Rose of Soweto as he's called in that part of the world, and Tony Foster of Hull, who's giving a pretty good account of himself here. Thobela, to put it mildly, has thus far been pretty unimpressive.
At the beginning when we looked at this fight on paper, it looked a little bit of a mismatch, but it hasn't turned out to be that. And I think basically because Thobela hadn't lived up to expectations.
He's just stepping up a gear now, and with a couple of good counters and some body shots at the start of this round. Thobela, I think the corner might have read the riot act to him. I know Malcolm Garrett in there was screaming at him, don't stand and wait, don't stand and wait, during one of the previous rounds. And now he's beginning to unload a little bit on Foster.
Yes, he's picked it up from the beginning of this round. And Foster, the moment's been quite slippy, holding his hands up well, managing to get out of the way. You can tell the experience in Foster.
Yes, he's using all of it to just stay in there and keep himself out of trouble, and then just looking to switch it for a moment there and lead with the left hand, trying to outfox a cutie like Thobela.
He's got a little bit more confidence, but not enough confidence to let the shot go.
He's got to be careful as well, because Thobela does look quite a sharp counter-puncher. This is rather better from Thobela in this round. He's starting to mix it up and just show his extra gloss.
Yes, he's picking the shots. He's pushing Foster back a little bit more and landing with a few shots. He's throwing a nice jab from time to time, but he's pretty much relied on that.
Good right through there, crashed through the guard of Foster from the South African.
He got through, but it didn't look as if there was a great deal of power there.
Thobela, in fact, is one of a number of decent black South African fighters who've broken through. Got another world champion in Welcome and Cheetah.
Again, Thobela didn't impress in that round. It looked at times that he was going to do a lot of work and was going to pick it up, and yet he never did. He threw a few decent combinations, but that was it.
And Tony Foster is probably quite pleased with his night's work so far. It'll be a decent little name to put in his record should he go the distance. He's done it with one or two named fighters in the past. Let's have a look at some of Thobela's work in that last round. He did at times just show flashes of his class. Now that was a good right hand, Glenn.
Yes, he keeps throwing that right hand and sometimes doubling it up. He works well to the body and switches with a nice right uppercut there. But nothing concussive and nothing that had Foster in any kind of real problems. He covered up well on the ropes there when this combination came through.
Seventh round of 8. Dingaan Thobela in the black trunks from Soweto in South Africa. And Tony Foster of Hull in the white. Been a quietish kind of contest so far, has to be said. Thobela has only shown fleeting glimpses of his World Championship form.
Yes, and Foster's done well. He's never looked in any real trouble. He's fought a cagey fight, managed to keep out of the way, and managed to land with a few shots of his own.
That's a decent right hand again. There's a bit more hand speed and zip about Thobela now. He's mixing up the shots as well. It's almost as if he said to himself, okay, I'm fed up with mucking about with this now. I want to just up the gears and move up to higher speeds.
Yes, he's picking it up a little bit now, throwing a few more shots. That right hand is getting better and getting through more. But there still doesn't look to be a great deal of power, and he does hold his chin up high.
To be fair to Foster, he's still quite nice and light on his feet. Hasn't been hurt, I don't think, not seriously anything, anyway, by anything that Thobela has done.
Come back, feet first, step forward, Dingaan. Feet first, let's go. Don't let him step forward.
Don't hold. Don't hold. Come on.
See, it's happened again. Thobela just rather fighting in spasms. He produced a good little 30-second burst and just went to sleep again for another half a minute.
Yes, just when you expect something, just when we think we're going to see something a little bit special, it just dies up.
Not a performance thus far to set the pulse racing from the former world champion. Now he's getting in a good variety of shots, though. Some uppercuts, little hooks to the body as well. Foster having to cover up quite a bit and quite happy there to just gain a moment's respite.
Yes, Thobela got through with a few good shots there. But Foster has the experience to cover up, get out of trouble, and then get back in with a few shots of his own.
Only one round to go after this one. Bit desperate and wild, Foster looking now. Well, there's Thobela going back to his corner. And this business of giving up a world championship is slightly curious, but obviously the WBO have become a little discredited in South Africa, Glenn.
Well, that's right. So he's give it up, and he's going for bigger things. But I think he's going to have to show a little bit more than this if he wants to do something against the likes of Tony Lopez.
Well, what promoter would really want to put him in with Tony Lopez, quite honestly? I mean, it's not a money fight, is it? Unless it's in South Africa. Here he is in action in this seventh round. Foster there trying to get brave, being picked up with a right-hand counter.
10 seconds, corners.
That was the right hand Thobela's thrown, and he throws it with his chin up in the air all the time.
Seconds out. 8 and last round.
Final round at lightweight. The ex-world champion, Dingaan Thobela in the black shorts. Ahead on points here against Tony Foster, who, although he's had some bad moments in the fight, has lived quite comfortably, really, and has probably had much harder night's work. And he's probably finding this one a good deal easier than he would have anticipated, I should think, Glenn.
Yes, when he came in, he looked a little bit nervous, and it looked like it was going to be a hard fight for him, certainly on paper. But it's been quite an easy night's work, and Thobela has never really showed anything that on paper suggests, you know, he's as good as he is.
Shouts of let's go from Thobela's corner.
I think Tony Foster, up till now, we're quite happy with his night's work.
Foster, one of those many have gloves, will travel characters that we have on the British scene, indeed all over the world. Would have come in here with no real expectations, I would suggest, of winning the fight. Not in his heart of hearts, but, well, hasn't done badly at all.
That's right, the sort of fighter who will always go out there and try his best. Maybe hasn't got the, you know, the greatest amount of talent, or will never be a world champion, but will always go in there and give these good fighters a good test and a good run for the money.
Has been a contest, quite frankly, that has resembled the kind of thing you see in the gym. I should think they have much tougher contests than this in the places like the Kronk Gym in Detroit every day.
I think in a lot
every
of gyms,
hour.
yes, in a lot of gyms they have tougher sparring. But it's styles as well. I mean, we've got a little bit of a clash of style, a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, and it just hasn't made into one of the best fights. And I thought Thobela would have been a little bit more anxious to impress and show his stuff. But he just hasn't done it tonight.
There's the countdown, bottom right of your picture. Thobela boxing for the most part behind what's been, quite honestly, a pretty half-hearted token jab. He's shown flashy combinations from time to time, but really hasn't shown us much of why he reached the top world class. A couple of good left hooks towards the end of the contest, and Thobela is the winner on points.
What a win there for Dingaan. Thobela. Short and sweet, the British fights, because the referee is the one who makes the decision. You don't have the judges at ringside, so it's normally very quick.